Yes, welcome to Stream Yab, welcome to Stream Talsif. Big ups. Now then, if you told me that Rodrygo would not be the only crazy move Man City potentially make this summer, I would be thinking, what could be crazier? And not that you need me to tell you, but what have we gone and done? Yes, severe Nipan. What have we gone and done exactly? We've only gone and added Donnarumma, arguably the best goalkeeper in the world, to our transfer list. It's genuinely mental. You know, I can't believe it. I don't know if you guys can, but it's something that does appear to be but it does seem to be something that's genuinely happening. He's 100% leaving the club, and Donnarumma is the target replacement. The target replacement for Edison. Also, Xavi Simons got here we go for Chelsea now, I think. Rodrygo, here we go soon. I don't really have a problem with that yet, as long as we get Rodrygo. I am hoping for this here we go to go through. But we'll start with Donnarumma because we gave Rodrygo a lot of time last night. I find it's a very, don't get me wrong, no one is going to complain about Donnarumma. Donnarumma is, like I've stated, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's just won the Champions League at PSG, and he is going to be leaving. You know, Enrique here. Donnarumma out of the squad, it's my own decision, 100% responsible. I want a different kind of keeper, and I made this decision. Donnarumma is one of the best keepers in the world. And then Donnarumma, this is his official statement 2 minutes ago. To Paris fans, first day I arrived, I gave everything on and off the pitch to earn my place to defend the goal at PSG. Unfortunately, some of us decided that I can no longer be a part of the group and contribute to the team's success. I'm disappointed and disheartened. I hope to have the opportunity to look at the Parc des Princes in the eyes one more time and say goodbye as it should be done. If that doesn't happen, I want you to know your support and affection means the world to me, and I will never forget it. I will always carry you with me, memory and all the emotions of magical nights, and of you who made me feel at home. To my teammates, second family, thank you for every battle, thank you for every laugh, thank you every moment we shared. You will always be my brothers. Playing for this club and living in this city has been an immense honour. Thank you, PSG. Thank you, Paris. Fair play, Chelsea, but Man City's making moves. Yeah, again, I'm not too... Will Edison actually leave? Well, he's always been a guy with question marks over his head. PSG fall off this season. It's going to be interesting, you know, because they got Chevalier. Okay, he is clearly that goalkeeper that Enrique is referring to. And it's an interesting one, isn't it? You know, of all the keepers to get pushed out of club, I don't think anyone would have Donnarumma at the top of the list to be a goalkeeper to be pushed out. You know, there's no denying his quality, and to be fair, Enrique bigs him up as well, because I'm one of the best in the world. And for me, I'm not against it. I'm obviously not. You know, if I saw Man City, here we go, smash that like button if you like Man City. Yes, big ups to that. You know, I'm not against this move. I'm obviously not. But I'm not puzzled by it either. I can't put a word on it. You know, I can understand why anyone would make this move. You know, Donnarumma is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You know, he's at a good age. You know, he's only 26 years old. He's had a brilliant time at PSG. And overall, he's been a top keeper for them, you know. So it's an interesting one, isn't it? But the big thing is that Edison leave, yes or no? I think he will, because I don't think we're going to charge a lot for him. I think we're going to hope for like 10 mil for him, maybe. You know, Eddie's future's been under fire since last summer, and Galatasaray have been linked with not only Ederson but Gundo as well. Galatasaray make a direct approach with Man City for Ederson's main target. Talks ongoing, both player and club side. It could be key for City pursuing Donnarumma. It's an interesting signing considering the position we're in with James Trafford. You know, James Trafford, he's 22, I believe. Should we look? Trafford, big egg. James Trafford is 22, but will be 23 in October. They're only 3 years apart. I'll be back tomorrow. Big up to you guys. I'm a graphics designer, and I make professional football thumbnails and posts. I was wondering if you were interested. Hey, you seem fun. Do you mind me asking a question kind of about topic? Well, I appreciate the offer. It is probably a no, as I don't know. I'm quite happy with how I do it at the moment, but I do appreciate the offer. But yeah, thank you for the offer, bro. Big ups. Yeah, but big ups for tuning in, Yab. Do appreciate it. Alright, but anyway, let's hop back over to this. Grealish should leave TBH. If he goes to a club like Villa, Emery could make him good again. I'm back tomorrow. Yeah, big ups to you, Yab. Big ups for tuning in. Yeah, but look, Donnarumma, he's absolutely a top player. You know, like, he's superb with PSG last season, especially. If I go over to FootMob now, sorry, just notification. All right. If I go over to Donnarumma, let's go to Liga and last season. A lot of oranges there, to be fair. No errors led to goal. 1 penalty faced and conceded. 4 clean sheets. Let's go Champions League as well. Again, a lot more green here. A lot more saves. There's no denying he's a very good keeper. Okay, and for 40 million, it's not a bad pricing whatsoever, to be fair. Do you think Gundo will be sold this summer? I think his time at City is finished. What about sign Elise? Wait till next summer, please. City says RCD edits. Welcome to the stream, bro. Sign Elise? But I'm willing to let him go. Wasn't he brilliant last season? Like, am I wrong in thinking that? Could have sworn like he played like amazing last season for Bayern Munich. Yeah, I don't think we're getting Elise of a contract till 2029 and the season he just had as well, to be honest with you. Yeah, 43 GNA last season. Insane. Let's offer Savinho and 70 mil. Company best is out. I think Elise is out of reach, if we're being realistic. And I think Rodrygo is a very good option, nonetheless. I think Rodrygo is a top option to go for. Galatasaray, though, they really look like they're in for Eddie, which has surprised me. And look, these two transfers that are obviously focal points for City at the moment. These two transfers only happen if one, Ederson leaves, and if Savinho leaves. You know, if there's a sudden U-turn in all this, and Ederson, if Ederson says I'm staying, and if what's his name, Savinho says I'm staying. You know, if those guys say they're staying, neither of these happen. Whoever chose Doku over Savinho and Doku and Savinho over Elise needs to get sacked for City. I would have gone Elise. Doku's a very good baller. I think he's a very good player. Falls in his game, sure, but I think there is a very good player in Doku. Probably Tiki Viana would have signed Elise, not gonna lie. I know we could have signed similar quality player in Elise and clearly with a higher ceiling. But City have made contact for 50 million, deemed too high. An agreement can only be possible if Edison leaves. Apparently, I did read that I did read that the fee will be brought down a bit, potentially. But again, it does it is a steep fee at the moment of 50 million. Apparently, we agreed personal terms with him, but we never wanted him, claiming he wasn't good enough at Palace. Interesting. Wouldn't surprise me if we made personal terms. Bernardo interview here. Yeah, City do believe that it is looking like City don't want to lose Savinho. This suggests that, and so does Fabrizio's initial post. It does look like City don't actually want to lose Savinho, but again, we seem to have our stance on Savinho of if a player wants to go, then we're more than willing to let him go. We're not the kind of club to hold a player here, whether they want to be here or not. We will let a player go if they want to go. And 21 years old, it's good age to go to another club. And 50 million for 50, 60 million, possibly rising to 70 million for Savinho is very good. Why not give him one more year? I get that. I get what you're saying if you're talking about Savinho. If you're talking about Savinho, I get that. But for me, I look at it like this. Imagine this is instead a swap deal with Real Madrid where you give them Savinho and 20 million on top, 20, 30 mil on top for Rodrygo. And I think so many people would probably agree to that in a weird way. In a weird way of that would never happen, but yeah, that is a very good deal. Because that's essentially what you're doing in a roundabout way. Savinho is going to bring you 60, 70 million. Okay, so let's say that's low ball. Let's say we bring in 60. We got 60 there. And then you got to bring together 40 million, which I know we have. There's no way we don't with the profits we make. So 40 million. And then, so we're only actually ending up spending 40 million on Rodrygo. Sell Doku if he's bad. Company loves Doku, Pep loves Elise. I do that swap. I don't think they're willing to drop. Don't get me wrong, RTD edits. I'm sure Company is a fan of Savinho, of Doku. Absolutely. There's the connection there. But I don't think he's willing to give up arguably their best young talent right now at the club, up there with Musiala. I don't think they're willing to give up these numbers for a player that didn't even get 20 GNA last season. At least they got more goals than Doku did goal contributions last season, and he got more assists. He had an unreal season for Bayern Munich here. I mean, look at this. Ended up getting 9 GNA in his last 5 games of the season with them. He's an absolute top player. I don't think Bayern Munich are willing to give that. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind that swap. That's a brilliant deal for us. But Bayern Munich aren't daft. Bayern Munich know they've got an absolute catch with Elise. They know they hit the jackpot. Doku isn't exactly a jackpot. Not yet, anyway. His market value is 50% of that. He's the same age as Elise. And, I mean, look, in his 2 seasons at Man City, Doku, he's gotten 34 GNA. At least they got that over that last season alone. Shouldn't have left the Prem, man. Yeah, easy to say that, but he's absolutely cooking in Bayern. I don't imagine he's complaining, man. But I'm not saying I wouldn't like him in the City shirt. I'd absolutely do that deal RTD edits, but it's just not realistically going to happen. On Echeverri, by the way, a little bit of news here. Echeverri does not want to join Girona and has chosen AS Roma, who are trying to find an agreement of a straight loan now. They were adamant on a loan to buy initially, but now they're just after a straight loan. Officially, Jack Grealish has left Man City and has joined Everton on a loan move. Big ups to him. I hope he absolutely smashes it so we can get 50 million for him. I don't think we're going to get that 50 million. I think it's a bit too steep, even if he has a good season. I just don't think it's going to happen. If I told you, if you were told to do that, say Elise says, I want to leave and come back to England, how much would you offer? In the context of where we are in our transfer window right now, I wouldn't offer any more than I'd offer for Rodrygo. We had no chance of winning UCL. With these signings, there definitely is a chance. Big ups to you, Samir, for tuning in. These signings are big. If we pull these off, Rodrygo and Donnarumma, those are big signings. Those are proper big signings. Experienced winners. Rodrygo's a serial Champions League winner. Donnarumma has obviously smashed in his league. Elise has better stats than Wirtz this season. Yeah, no doubt. Elise is an absolute baller. But again, I like Elise a lot, but again, I wouldn't offer more than I'm offering for Rodrygo. So, we sell Savinio for 60 million. I'm not offering more than 100 million for either of them. Bayern Munich will say no to 100 million for Elise. Real Madrid have said that they will take 100 million for Rodrygo. Yeah, Elise is an absolute baller, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I want some breaking news to come through, man, desperately. Yeah, here's the official Here We Go post for Jack Grealish to Everton back away loan deal agreed, medical booked later today. Grealish said yes, and now he's set to complete his move. So if we didn't see that already, there it is. And now, of course, he is obviously an Everton footballer. Morata's joined Como. And Liverpool look to sign two new centre-backs. This guy from Parma, and of course Mark Gay from Crystal Palace. Two big centre-backs. Me and This Is City, and I believe other YouTubers. Other YouTubers too have probably pointed out Liverpool's defensive problems, and look, signing 2 centre backs is only going to help there. To be fair, I can't diss that move whatsoever. Now this is a world class player; he will get numbers anywhere, and this is what put him off this move. Am I the only one who thinks that City would have been another Grealish, not in the sense of not an FGA, and this is what would have put him off this move. I'm on this kind of boat. I think Wirtz will do well. Wirtz is a brilliant player. And I'm not going to sit here and say I think Florian Wirtz is a fraud and is going to flop or anything like that, or is going to struggle. I think Wirtz will smash it at Liverpool is the honest answer. As much as that pains me to say, I don't like to say that. I think he's going to absolutely hit the ground running and smash it. He's a top player. I wanted him. Most City fans wanted him. Now then, I'm very happy with Shirky. I think Shirky can absolutely smash it as well. I'm not going to sit here and complain about Shirky. And I've even said that I prefer having Shirky over Florian Wirtz because of the price tag. The price tag was huge, 125 million. That is more than what we paid for Rangers, Aït-Nouri, and Shirky. That's more than those 3. So I'm more than I would rather take those 3 than take one Florian Wirtz. Because you've got to remember, if we signed Florian Wirtz and then went on to sign those 2 of those 3, that being Rangers and Aït-Nouri, that is 200 million gone, and we're probably not able to make the moves that we're looking to do right now. Okay, trying to sign Rodrygo and Donnarumma. We're probably not able to do that because that is suddenly a almost £400 million summer, and I don't think we do that. So yeah, I'm absolutely happy with the moves that we've made. Over on Instagram, this is what was shown here. Revealed Pep big fan of Rodrygo, and City want to try if Savinho leaves. Pep has always added Rodrygo to his wish list at City in recent years, and this is the case now. If Tottenham and City agree a deal, Rodrygo will become the number 1 priority target for us. Real Madrid want 100 million as initial price tag, and Rodrygo loves the club. It's not an easy decision eventually. I do think that this move, if we higher risk with higher potential, I can agree with that. Maybe not higher potential, but definitely in terms of he is a bit higher risk for me, Shirky, but I can absolutely see the potential. Jack off to Everton, a possibility. It's more than a possibility, mate. It's absolutely 100% happened. He is pictured in the Everton shirt. Here he is. Looks a bit odd in my mind, but there you go. Jack Grealish in an Everton top. He's going to be number 18, so hope he smashes it. We get 50 million if he does, because Everton will hopefully pay it. I don't think they will pay it. I think it's too steep. Yeah, I don't think they're going to cough it up. But I think this deal does happen, but I just think this is going to take a little bit. I don't think we're going to have him before Tottenham, for example. Even if Savinho is at Tottenham by the time the Tottenham game comes around. I don't think we have this guy before Tottenham. We need the deals to crack on. Savinho to Tottenham has to start moving. And Savinho's open to the move. The moment you hear personal terms are agreed between Tottenham and Savinho, this deal will happen. Tottenham will cough up. They have the money, and 50 million was around the starting offer. They're probably going to bring that to about 60 to 70 in that area. It's a weird one, A part of me doesn't really like the deal because it's obviously a City player going to a Big Six team, but also because he only played 1 season. But if the trade-off is bringing in a player like Rodrygo, a player that I think everyone rates, Alfred, big ups to the Alfred, big ups. We got Wim Maffei and Rosa in the chat. That's first Paul Carlos Forbes, Paul Club Bruges. Oh wait, yeah, he's gone there, hasn't he? Ex-Man City Academy guy. Hope he does well. Yeah, he's a top keeper, Donnarumma. I really don't know where to sit with him. You know, I think it's weird for the James Trafford and Donnarumma dynamic now, because like it kind of made sense with him and Edison. Edison number one keeper, with Trafford challenging again. Maybe he gets a couple more games in him here and there. But then next season, Edison's contract is out and he leaves on a free. Trafford becomes the number one, and then we have our number one sorted. Donnarumma is 26 years old. Okay, he's got years ahead of him. And assuming he smashes it at City, which is very much a possibility, I don't really see, like, he's 5 years younger than Eddie or something like that. So let's assume fancies leaving in 5 years. James Trafford will be turning 28 in 5 years. It's weird. It's a very odd one. You're signing a top goalkeeper who's very much just entering his prime, and you've got a young goalkeeper who can be developed, of course, and everything like that. No doubt about that. I'm not dissing the Trafford move here. I'm just skeptical about the dynamic between our two goalkeepers here, because we are going to have two very good goalkeepers. We thought Edison and Ortega was quite the dynamic. It's even more so now. Let's refresh that. Hey, apparently he had a great debut. This is the thing for me. Rodrygo is not a key player for Xabi Alonso this season. That much is clear after the Club World Cup. That is like the thing for me. If he started every game in the Club World Cup, I'd say this deal's got no chance if Rodrygo doesn't want to leave and Real Madrid don't want to sell. But it's clear that he's not really a part of the plans, because number one, the game time in the Club World Cup. Number two, Real Madrid are willing to sell. And number three, players are actually trying. How many times do you see big teams go to Real Madrid and try to take their players off them? Try to take their big players off them. You don't see it a lot. You don't see it. It's typically Real Madrid coming and knocking for another team's big player. You don't see this often, but it's happening because Real Madrid don't necessarily want it to happen, but they're willing to let it happen. They're inviting people to come have a look. Donnarumma Trafford. That's the thing, Rosa. That's where I'm at. I don't know. Donnarumma, in my opinion, is probably a better goalkeeper, but it's such a weird dynamic now between Donnarumma and Trafford. The age gap is not huge. Trafford's only 3 years and a bit younger than him. That's not a huge age difference. He's only a couple of years younger than him. Donnarumma is obviously he's the experience, the European experience, years at the top level of football. Serie A and Ligue 1 are his two leagues when it comes to football. He's been at the top level of the game for years and has smashed it at both of his clubs, and has just had a brilliant season with PSG as well to put a cherry on the cake. And PSG are looking to sell because, well, they've signed Chevalier and he's more the goalkeeper suited for them. But then we seem very interested. I'll back the club because we obviously have a plan. We wouldn't sign Donnarumma if we didn't have a plan for both the keepers. I will say this is curveball. I don't know what Trafford's thinking to this. It's a very weird one. When it comes to Edison, we're not going to get a ton of money for him, so I don't know if City are hoping that Edison's going to pay for that. Edison, 1 year left on his deal. I know Galatasaray had a rumoured bid of like 10 million, of like 5 million. It's probably going to be more like 10 if we're lucky, 15, but probably not because of his contract length. So, like, he's not really going to pay for the signing. Haaland, like, done his goodbye post a lot. There you go. You know, the City players obviously here in Barcelona as well then. Again, it's very, very strange. I really don't know what to think of the Donnarumma deal. I'm not against it. I love the look of having Donnarumma in a City shirt. Like, who doesn't? He's an absolute baller. And Donnarumma, when it comes to playing in between the sticks, and again, just had an absolutely brilliant season with PSG. And look at what he does on an international level too with Italy. You know, he's solid in penalty shootouts. You know, think back to the one with England. You know, he's very, very good. You know, you can't really fault him. Okay, he's probably got some flaws in his games, as everyone does. But as far as goalkeepers go, this guy's probably one of the best. Here is like the official thing. This is a goodbye. There's no way he stays now. There's no way he stays. And it just makes you wonder. It just makes you absolutely wonder. I'm excited for what the future holds because these next few days look really, really excited. Do we want Donnarumma? You know, do we want Rodrygo? Would you rather someone else? You know, or would you rather keep a hold to Edison and Savinho? Not let them go and keep what we've got and to go into the season basically as we are? Or would you rather some change, you know, bringing in PSG and Real Madrid top players? Let me know what you're thinking in the description below. Well, in the comments, I meant. Make sure to like the stream if you haven't already. Big ups to everyone that has tuned in. I've really appreciated the support as per usual. Again, another really exciting stream. You know, I didn't think it could get more exciting than yesterday. And to be fair, I don't think this one was. But if there's anything that's going to contest it, it was to this stream because, man, we really do seem to be moving right now. Anyway, though, big ups to everyone who tuned in. Rosa. Oh, Blink Connect. We got Visacity later on. Can't end just yet. Gotta get your thoughts, bro. Wow. Buzzing Connect, absolutely buzzing. We've been hearing reports. We've been hearing reports for over a month now. Nobody believed it. I mean, for me, like, I've never really believed Rodrygo reports. Like, we get linked to Rodrygo every single year, and I'm always just like, is that time of the year again? Well, we're just linked to him because why not? You know, we're just linked to him because we can be. And it never happens. We're never truly linked, but now we are. Haaland just liked his Instagram post connect. Wow, within a minute. Again, it really does seem. I know about Donna. Don't worry, I know you're talking about Donna there. I just think Samir was referring to Rodrygo. But anyway, yeah, I mean, there's no way he doesn't leave now. Not after this. There's no way he doesn't. You know, this is the nail in the coffin. It's a nice nail in the coffin. It's not. They're not ending it nastily, which is a nice thing. It did look like it could have been a bit nasty, but it seems like they're ending it before it gets to that point. For me, I like the signing. I like the idea of it. I will absolutely take him. I'm just like a little tad skeptical on the dynamic between Trafford and Donnarumma for the long-term future. Because, like, Donnarumma is such a brilliant goalkeeper. It's going to be so much harder for James Trafford now. It's going to be so much harder. You know, I don't think he thought this was going to be the case when he joined. Unless the club has been eyeing up a move for Donnarumma for a little bit now. I don't think he knew. And so, I'm much a fan of bringing in Donnarumma. I'm just very curious to see how that dynamic will work in terms of the long-term plan. Because for Edison, it was so easy. Is that Haaland's real account? Yes, it is. Because it's a Donnarumma right now is an upgrade on Edison right now, absolutely. The only thing is Edison is 31, okay, and he's got 1 year left on his deal with City. He would probably be number one for this coming season. James Trafford challenges him a bit, a couple games for both of them here and there and whatnot. And then I thought Edison leaves at the end of next season and Trafford becomes number one. That was like the thoughts in my mind. But now we're linked to Donnarumma. Remember, you were always so adamant about Donnarumma to Madrid, and now we're getting him. That shows this is the right player we're going for. If he could have gone to Madrid, that's the standard. I mean, yeah, I was so, convinced. I was saying, you heard it here first, Donnarumma to Madrid, it's going to happen. I was so convinced on it. You have no idea how sure I was. I thought I had such a brain moment, okay? And to be fair, I think it would have potentially happened. To be fair, I'm not saying that wouldn't have happened, but I don't think PSG are willing to lose. I don't think PSG are willing to lose another top player on a free. They probably felt that with Mbappe, and were like, "Ouch, that was not very nice." Real Madrid just took our guy, and so they're just like, "Okay, you clearly don't want to be here. You're not willing to extend your contract. Off you pop. You are moving on." Some fans are so against this. It confuses me. I don't get why you would be against this. I get why there would be skepticism on how it's going to work going forward with Trafford and Donnarumma, but Edison over Donnarumma, I'm taking Donnarumma every day. Every day. There's no world that I'm not. It's so interesting. Past couple of days have been nuts for transfer rumors. This has come out of nowhere. This has so come out of nowhere, guys. Genuinely, I can't put my finger on it. I'm worried that if I blink, I'll miss something. People want him. Pep wants him too badly. It's Pep pushing for him, not Viana. It shows Pep is going to adapt. I love that so much. Rival fans must be stunned seeing City fans don't want two world-class players. For me, I don't understand why you wouldn't want these moves. I understand why you'd be a little worried and whatnot, a bit of skepticism and whatnot. Okay, I get that. Okay, obviously. For me, I'm absolutely for Rodrygo. I'm absolutely for that. I only see the pluses. Big to you in the chat, by the way, Alf. Exactly, good rival fans and our fans want us to be part of some project for a youth club, and that's the thing for me. We can't. That's what whittles down for me. We can't waste our time continuously worrying about signing young players and letting them develop. We can't just be a development club. We have to bring in top talent now. Think about some signings in the past. Riyad Mahrez, when we signed him, he wasn't like a youngster. He was a winger that had proved himself in the Premier League to be one of the best wingers in the league. Think about even Jack Grealish. Okay, he was 25 when we signed him, turning 26. One of the best wingers in the league, one of the best creators in the league with Aston Villa. Okay, highly rated. Think about Rangers. Literally got Serie A midfielder of the season. Think about even think about Yaya Toure. To my knowledge, he wasn't the youngest midfielder in the world when we signed him. It was a while ago now, to be fair. But again, to my knowledge, he wasn't well, actually, maybe he was. He was at the club for a while. All right, maybe not Yaya, but think about Fernandinho. Literally a cult hero at the club. That's just Pepper's willing to adapt again. I love it. I love that. Well, hopefully. Yeah. Again, I really want it. I really, really want these deals because it just works. Yeah, I feel bad to be pushing almost for Savinho and Edison to leave because for two different reasons as well. Edison's been at the club a while. There's obviously a love for him. And Savinho's not been at the club long enough. And I wanted to build a bit of a love for him. I think he's a top player. Or there's a lot of potential there. You know, I wanted to build like a good relationship and whatnot, but I'm not gonna snub Donnarumma and Rodrygo, am I? You know, I'd be so naive and silly to snub two colossal moves like that. You know, those are big moves. You know, big moves is what we've wanted as fans. You know, there's nothing more we want. And now we go for someone, and now we're thinking twice. Nah, go for it, Blues. You know, if I was City, okay, as in if I was at the club right now, I would even be pushing for these exits. I would even be, you know, I would absolutely be pushing for this. Because you are, if the club is thinking, okay, we've got Savinho, we like him, but we don't really want to lose him. But if we do, we can go get Rodrygo. And then you think of Edison, we like him, we're not super against losing him, but if we do lose him, we can go get Donnarumma. For me, those are no-brainers. Those are no-brainers in my eyes. You know, those are only stuff that makes sense. Gutted about Savinho, though. Yeah, look, it's a bit of a sad one on Savinho because he hasn't really had a chance to shine. But again, if it was many other wingers in the world, I say keep Savinho. But this is Rodrygo. Who would you want in your starting 11 if we get all the transfer rumours? Well, we've got Donnarumma in goal. Nunes right back, as we don't seem to be getting a different right back. Centre backs, I want Kusanov and Vardiol. Left back, I want Ait-Nouri. Pivot, this is if everyone's fit, by the way. Pivot is Reinders off the left and Rodri off the right. Front four of it gets a little tough now. Marmoush off the left, Haaland up top. Rodrygo off the right. Who do you put at the cam? It's so stacked, isn't it? If we get them both, you can give it a 9.5 plus. It's close to your danger 10 mark. Well, yeah, I mean, if we get both of these guys, it's at minimum like a 9.5. You know, literally the only thing I could ask for is a right back, but I've accepted that's not happening. This makes us a serious UCL club. Competitors, by the way, no jokes. I'm so confident with Donnarumma and UCL. I'd do Foden in the 10, Marmoush left, Shirky right wing. Would you have like Rodrygo rotating around the three? Connected solely at penalty saves, by the way. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll never forget some of those penalty shootouts. You know, not to bring up bad memories for you, but you know, Italy against England in Euro 2020. You know, that one just comes to mind, and there's other ones too. Edison UCL with the Transeds and Donnarumma is a completely different story. Yeah, Edison's too far dropped off, but he's also not good on pens. Pens are crucial in Champions League. I'd have Rodrygo on the bench, says Alf Blinkeneck. How bad would that be for Rodrygo, man? You know, benched for Madrid just to come to us for 100 million and benched at City too. It is such a like our front line will be stacked, like genuinely insane. Like Haaland, Marmoush, Rodrygo, Foden, Shirky, Doku, Bob. You know, that's 7 off the top of my head. You probably get more in there. There's probably someone I'm missing. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. Dressing room is not going to be healthy. I can't lie. I'm not so sure. You know, we only want players that have a good attitude and players. And look, I get why you'd have that concern because there's so many top talents, but the thing is we're gonna talk to Rodrygo and we're gonna tell him this is like the plan we have for him, okay? And other players will be informed on that as well. You know, we're not gonna sign players that make issues in the dressing room. Samir, if we get Rodrygo, I'm assuming that Foden's health issues are more permanent than we may like. The thing is, it doesn't seem to be Phil Foden related though, Alf. Is the one thing for me. You know, it's the fact that Savinho. It's the fact that Savinho is the catalyst here. Savinho is the guy that's triggered this, not like Phil Foden. How does Doku play if Marmoush and Rodrygo over him? Maybe back to right wing, possibly. You know, it's such a difficult one. No surprise that 3 seasons we were notably stacked. Our best ever seasons. It's a good thing to be stacked. It is. It's just Savinho wasn't a starter. True. He wasn't like a guaranteed place in the 11 player. You are right on that. But he did have the potential to be. And I know it's good and all going off potential. But there was the potential for him to be a starter, which is what we were kind of banking on. You know, he's very much a development player. Played 9 for most minutes, to be fair. Right, so did have a lot of game time. There you go, to be fair. Oh, man, you've no idea how difficult predicted 11s are going to be this season. It's actually going to be nuts. It's such an interesting one. To be fair, yeah, we did have Sergio Aguero, Gabby Jesus, Mahrez, Sane, Sterling. Oh. Director Haaland's going to get us Donnarumma. Yeah. Like Mahrez talking to Haaland on holiday. I'm waiting for these players so badly. Man, the moment a Here We Go drops, we'll be there. 75% of Grealish's salary will be covered by Everton. It's not bad. It could have been a lot worse, to be fair. You know, they were never going to pay the full thing. You know, his wages are ridiculous. So, Mara's on the bench after scoring hat tricks because we had Prime Bernardo. So, yeah, man, didn't even count for Prime Bernardo. Because Bernardo would be a winger as well, wasn't he? He'd be a winger at times. Oh. Well, guys, I think I'm going to end it there. Big of 7 who's tuned in. I've really enjoyed this stream. I've really enjoyed I've really enjoyed like everything about it because like news is just popping. I love the talk. You know, the talk of what we're going to be doing and whatnot. I've absolutely loved it all from start to finish. I think it's been banging. Oh, just had a post from Alf. Big ups to Alf for sending me this. Might as well share this, man. Look at that. It's not over yet, guys. I don't know who this guy is, but Alf sent me it. Galatasaray have reached an agreement, 3-year contract, 8 million a season. There is no agreement with MUFC. Galatasaray offered 7. We want 13. City will then present an official offer. Oh man, this guy called this a couple of days ago. I mean, it's probably going to be around the 10 mil mark, isn't it? Take a look at City Extra. 75 million is nuts. Does that just not confirm that City Donnarumma to City? Last comment, please. I mean, it might do. It genuinely might do, you know. I mean, the moment you see it, here we go, for Edison to Galatasaray, or Savinio to Donnarumma, expect big developments, like huge strides for those two talents. You know, I fully expect that will happen. Oh, it's going to be so interesting. I'm so excited, guys, for the future because it's going to be genuinely mental. You know, big ups for us for pulling that off, by the way. That is what? We're only paying 100 grand a week of Grealish's salary now. No, not even that. I'm just trying to figure it out. 50%, 150, 50% of 150 is 75. 75 plus 150, 225. So we're paying 75 grand a week for Grealish at the moment, and they're paying the rest. What a start from Vienna. Unbelievable start. These 6 players couldn't have asked for that much more. Donnarumma first game versus Spurs, saves Savio Penlov. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, potentially. I think we'll get Donnarumma before we'll get Rodrygo. I think Rodrygo's going to take a little bit of time. But I do think Savinio could very well happen before the Tottenham game. It's going to be a very, very interesting one. Very, very interesting. Smash likes, guys. And yeah, I will wrap it up there, actually, this time, assuming no breaking news just drops out of nowhere. Big ups to everyone who's tuned in. I appreciate the support, as per usual. You know, big ups to This Is City, Samir, Alf, Talsif, Yab, Wim Malfe, Rosa. So many people tuned into this one. Really do appreciate it. I can hardly blame you. Does he get booed? Interesting. Yeah, I know. That will be interesting. Big ups to you all, Blues. I appreciate the support, as per usual. And yeah, I'll definitely be seeing you soon, hopefully. Hopefully we'll get Here We Go on some talents that we want, but expect some big news coming towards exits as well. Anyway, Blues, I'll see you. Breaking news on the secret room there. Big ups to you all. Anyway, big ups to you all, Blues. I'll see you all in the next one.